Hey guys, so World Rugby has announced the awards for 2024, and yeah, I'm excited to just give you guys my thoughts on it, who I think should be selected, and yeah, just obviously congrats to all the players. They all truly deserve the award, kind of to be nominated in the first place. It just comes down towards if they win it, and yeah, I'll let you know my thoughts on that. Before I do so, make sure guys to like the video, subscribe to our channel. And yeah, let me know in the comment section below your kind of thoughts and who would be your winners for 2024 in terms of who World Rugby has selected here. So let me know in the comment section below. Starting off with the big one, we got to start off with the big one here for men's 15s Player of the Year. And yeah, there is it's kind of one direction really in terms of I guess the teams, because we do have 3 Springboks included as well as 1 Irish player, of course, being the likes of Caden Doris there for the Irish, and then with the likes of Peter Suthertoy, Eben Etzebeth, and Cheslin Kobe. So, yeah, I think all 4 of them definitely deserve the award. I think just to get right off the back, I know the player that people would have liked to see, I guess, in this conversation was Oxen Che, because, props don't really get the recognition that, we really see when it comes towards these awards. So it was a bit unfortunate not to see him at least be nominated. I can understand if he wasn't to win the award, but to at least be nominated, I feel he's been a bit hard done by. Can't really be mad about what the kind of the players that World Rugby have selected here, because I think all 4 of them have had an excellent year. And look, when you're looking at all 4 of them, it's tough because first of all, with Caden Doris, Ireland won the Six Nations, so he was definitely instrumental in terms of that kind of win in terms of that campaign. And yeah, later on, of course, in the year, Ireland did pretty well in terms of their kind of July internationals. And yeah, within the Autumn Nations, they've kind of dipped, I'd say, within the Autumn Nations. So that's what would hurt, I think, Caden Doris' chances. But at the same time, I know we're not kind of thinking of club rugby in this award, but he's done well on that perspective as well. But really, this is more about the international stage. And I think when it comes towards Ireland, I don't think they've been the same team as we've recognized throughout the last 2 years per se, because they were, pretty much seen as one of the best teams in the world. Right now, I wouldn't say, personally, they're 1 or 2. I think that really is between South Africa and New Zealand as number 1 and 2. Again, you could also say France in there because, France did just beat the All Blacks. So I think that's kind of the 3 I'm looking at. But Ireland is definitely part of that. It just, it obviously swings as the months go by. But for now, I think Caden Doris, out of the 4 of them, I wouldn't say has the best opportunity to win the award, just to be honest. I think when it comes towards the 3 Springboks, I think it's probably more likely that one of them 3 will win it, purely just because of the kind of campaign that the Springboks have had throughout this year. They've done very well, throughout the kind of July internationals. Again, they played some games in there which kind of were mixed bag, really, because they played Wales, of course, to start off their season. And yeah, they did pretty well on that one. They then played Ireland, of course, and they got a win for themselves, but they did lose 1 game. So that's really the one thing that you can kind of go against the Springboks, I'd say, throughout this year, is really that loss against Ireland in South Africa. And again, that's something that goes in favor of Caden Doris as well. So you get to consider that, I guess, when you're thinking about Caden Doris. But I think for now, that's really the only defeat which kind of goes really back on the Springboks, because when you look at the rest of the campaign, they were superb throughout the Rugby Championship. Again, they did lose against Argentina in that one, but again, they came home with the Rugby Championship, which is the most important thing. They beat the Wallabies twice away. They beat the All Blacks twice at home, which is really the defining one, I think, in my opinion, in terms of the reason why I think a lot of Springboks have been selected here. And then, yeah, of course, throughout the Autumn Nations, we have the likes of, them beating Scotland as well as England to kind of continue their winning form. So I think without a doubt, all 3 of these players definitely deserve to be selected. In terms of individually, I think Eben Etzebeth has had a good year, a very solid campaign. The thing that kind of stands out is really him kind of passing, I guess, Victor Matfield as becoming the most capped kind of Springbok. So that's pretty big achievement right there in terms of Eben Etzebeth, and definitely a player who is just, he's going to continue it's crazy to say this, but he'll continue to get better in a way. And I guess he's obviously more towards the tail end of his career. But at the same time, he'll definitely be the same player. And that's what he's done. He's demonstrated that throughout this year. So he definitely has a good case, I'd say, Eben Etzebeth, because he is just one of the leaders as well on the side, and he always does the job. Really puts in like an 8 out of 10 performance really every day. So yeah, he is a really good player and definitely deserves to be in this conversation. In terms of just at the toy, I think he's had an awesome campaign. Again, he is one of the few players previously has won the award for World Player of the Year back in 2019 when the Springboks won their first World Cup. And yeah, look, he's had an excellent year. Peter Steph. I mean, you can't really go wrong with him. He has really done everything to the best of his ability, and he's always there. He is always there, and just he is just an awesome player to watch. He really just there is no one like him. I think in that position, I think there's not really a player that comes close to him. I think in terms of what he's able to bring for the Bucks. And again, you have to remember just in case people aren't aware of this that Safka obviously plays as 6 and 7, but Peter Steph is seen actually as the 6 in the whole system when you're looking at other squads. It's just that he wears the number 7, so just keep that in mind. So that's the reason why I'm saying as a number 6, I don't think there's been any other player better than him, I think, this year in terms of what he's done. And he's just an incredible player to watch. And man, he's a good player. He's a good player. And then with Cheslin Kobe, man, he's just another player who's really stood out throughout this year. Again, in good try scoring form, as we recently saw against the English, getting 2 tries to his name. And man, he is just a hot stepper, man. He just makes the right decisions. That's kind of the best way I can describe Cheslin Kobe. He just makes the right decisions in the right moments. And we saw that throughout the Rugby Championship, and we've also seen this throughout the automations now. And look, he probably played his key games, I'd say, against New Zealand. That's where he kind of stood out the most. Again, he was also good in the other games he played in as well. But really, there's 2 games against New Zealand. That's where he kind of stood out. And then, of course, this game against England kind of just put the cherry on top, really. So, he is really just a great player to watch. And honestly, I think I'd actually go with Cheslin Kobe. In terms of the nominees, he's the one I think has the best shot. I think it's really between him and Peter Steph, in my opinion. I think Evan Smith is definitely in the conversation, but I would have awarded the award to him back in 2023 when he was the kind of the nominee, because again he's of course was nominated in last year's one throughout the Rugby World Cup, of course, so it's a back-to-back nominee really there for Evan Smith. But do I think he'll win it? I think it's really between Peter Steph and Cheslin Kobe. If I have to choose between the two, I would give it towards Cheslin Kobe. So that's my selection there in terms of this World 15 Men's Player of the Year. So in terms of the World 15 Breakthrough Player of the Year, there's 4 nominees for this one. They've selected the likes of Wallace Atiti. They've gone with Sasha Feinberg Mgumuzulu. They've also gone with Jamie Osborne, and as well as Emmanuel Faiwa-Boso. So it's good players there that they've gone with. I think all 4 of them definitely deserve to be selected. I mean, that's probably the 4 I would go with, honestly, now that I look at it. Like, I can't really think of another player that's had a breakthrough campaign like these 4. I mean, let me know, obviously, in the comments if there is someone you can think of. But I think that's probably the 4 I would go with as well. I think, with Sasha, he's had a good year, very good year for the Bucks. He kind of came into his own really when he was included from the July internationals onwards. And then, of course, in the Rugby Championship, that's where he kind of stood out really against the All Blacks. That was the big one, playing that first test against the All Blacks. That was a big decision to make, and it proved to be right, really. So that he definitely made a claim. And that's really the reason why I think he's been selected. Again, he hasn't been a part of the Autumn Nations, unfortunately, due to his injury. But still, I think he's deserves the nomination in kind of around the players that have been selected here. In terms of Emmanuel Faiwa-Boso, I mean, he's had an excellent campaign for the English, probably the one standout player who's really just done well for them. I mean, look back towards the Six Nations, he really that's where he kind of made his mark, I think, getting a few tries in there. Again, he also did that throughout the July internationals. That's where he kind of really did well, because he got some tries in there against the All Blacks in New Zealand, and he looked pretty good actually when I look back at that. And then, of course, with the automations, he's again looked pretty dangerous, So he's definitely made the impression and definitely stood up this year. So I think that's definitely a deserved one. In terms of Jamie Osborne, I mean, really the one that kind of stands out for me, it's really the winning kick that he got against the Springboks in South Africa. He was the one that got that win for the Irish in South Africa and was able to claim that victory. So that's really the defining reason, straight up, that he's included in this. I think he is definitely the one where, out of the 4, I would say he doesn't have the best opportunity, I think, out of the 4. I think he would be like 4th on my list if I'd kind of ranked them in the way. But I do think the next player here, Wallace Atiti, is the hands-down favorite for this award in terms of Breakthrough Player of the Year. I think he's had an excellent campaign. And again, we have to remember, we're not including club rugby here, but I mean, watching kind of him break through the Chiefs and then playing an excellent semi-final for them and kind of just blowing everyone away, and then again getting the Chiefs towards the final. Again, they did lose, but still excellent campaign for him. And then within July internationals, gets selected, and again, a lot of people did question it because people were like, "Oh, is this the right call to include him over like the player like a Tutu?" But man, it's paid off. Definitely in Razor's favor. He was excellent. throughout those games against the English. He carried on his form in the Rugby Championship and was really good in those ones. Really kind of just stood his ground really, and yeah, really just made an impression there. And then of course throughout the automations, that's where he's really made his mark. I think really kind of cemented his status in terms of, I guess, winning this award. I think he was excellent against the English. Really, the game that kind of stood out for him with that one. Irish, he was all right. I think he had a good impact in that one as well. Same in this France game as well. He's had a really good campaign. So he's definitely the player I believe that should win Breakthrough Player of the Year. In terms of the Sevens one, this is like kind of the last one that, in terms of the individual awards that I'll talk about, I think it's clear and obvious that Dupont has to win this. It's one of those where you could give it towards Kennedy here, but I just think he's probably been the best player when you look at it from the calendar year in terms of sevens and how they kind of run through things, because Kennedy is an excellent player. He's kind of stood up really for the Irish throughout that. He's done really well in terms of what he's done, but I think you just got to give it towards Dupont. I mean, look, Grand Didier has also had a good campaign for the French, and you could say in terms of the whole season, again, he's probably been most consistent performer. But again, with Dupont then joining, I think he played at least 2 or 3 tournaments before the Olympics. I think he played in 2, if I'm not mistaken, and he was excellent in both. Of course, when he won in the US, and then of course helping France really in the Olympics, and yeah, taking on the gold. So I think this hands down has to be given towards Dupont, and I think it will be. So that's kind of the clear and obvious choice with that award. The final one, I'm not going to show, but I just want to talk about it because there is also, of course, the International Try of the Year. And the 3 nominees, I believe, is one from Georgia versus Australia game back in the July Internationals. A pretty good try, actually, end-to-end, really. Then there was one from France against England, if I'm not mistaken, with the scrum half Le Garec there. Pretty good try. It's just it's a good, well-worked try. But really, I think the last one, which they show with Pani against the Welsh in that Italy-Wales game throughout the Six Nations, that's definitely the favorite for me to win it. I think it's just a really well-worked try down the right-hand side, cuts in loose, goes around the corner. It's just a really good win. It's just a good win for the Italians as well. Like, they really stood up in that kind of Six Nations. So that would be my nominee for that award in that instance. Well, that is it really with my thoughts in terms of the World Rugby Awards for 2024. And in my opinion, I'm going to go with Cheslin Kolbe as my player to win it. I've then chosen Wallace Atiti, Anton Dupont, and then Luca Pani for the International Try of the Year. So that's my selection there for the awards. Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section below. I want to see your thoughts. Like the video, guys. Subscribe to our channel. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.